Welcome to the Asylum Show's Top 10 Batman the Animated Series Obscure and Lesser Known Facts. Batman the Animated Series first aired in 1992 and ran for a total of 85 episodes over just 3 years. Produced by heavy hitters such as Bruce Timm, Eric Radomski, Alan Burnett, and even Paul Dini later in its run. I keep it as no secret that it's my favourite cartoon to this day, and like many of you out there, the show was my introduction to the Batman character. I was fortunate enough to get in on the action from day one, hence my love for the Man-Bat character, as briefly mentioned in my top 10 action figure list from episode 2. Admittedly, I'm still waiting for a Dr. Langstrom to add to the collection, so if anyone's watching from DC Collectibles, please make this a reality. I'd also love to see a classic collection for the animated series, so if anyone's watching at Hasbro, please also make this a reality. Or sell the molds to DC Collectibles, I don't mind either way. Okay, so let's jump straight into our top 10 obscure and lesser known facts about Batman the Animated Series. Number 10. None of the show's writers or producers earn any royalties from the use of Harley Quinn. It's common knowledge that Harley Quinn was created for the animated series by Paul Dini and Bruce Timm. However, did you know neither of her creators receive any royalties for her use in other mediums or merchandise? In 2013, Bruce Timm stated during the Batman Animated Series anniversary panel at San Diego Comic-Con, "Paul and I originally created the character Roxy Rocket specifically because we don't get a dime from Harley Quinn. Because the way the paperwork works, she was created for the animated series, so therefore DC Comics own her lock, stock and barrel. If we had created her for a comic book, Harley would have fallen under their equity program, so Paul and I would have gotten a little tiny piece of Harley anytime somebody sold Harley merchandise. We specifically created Roxy Rocket for the comics first, hoping that she would be our second Harley. It did not happen." Number 9. Planet of the Hatter. Among the huge voice talents of Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, best known for their roles as Batman and the Joker in the series, did you know that the show had some other big names attached? These include the likes of Adam West as the Grey Ghost, Ron Perlman as Clayface, and possibly my favourite obscure casting choice, Roddy McDowall as the Mad Hatter, also known as Cornelius from the original Planet of the Apes movies, which is my second favourite franchise of all time after Star Wars. Number 8. Not everything is white and black. When designing the visual style for the animated series, it was agreed upon to have a timeless noir feel similar to the Tim Burton Batman movie. This was executed by Eric Radomski, who was not only responsible for the aesthetic feel of Gotham, but also issued a standing order to the animation department that all backdrops were to be created using light paints on black paper, instead of the traditional dark paints on white paper. This combination would later be dubbed by the production team as Dark Deco, and is responsible for the darker feel of the series alongside the more psychological approach to the storytelling. Number 7. And the award goes to... The animated series was met with huge critical acclaim. In fact, it even won 4 Emmy Awards during its time on air. These include the Outstanding Animated Program Award and Outstanding Music Direction and Composition for the episode A Bullet for Bullock. This success is only second to the later released The Batman TV series that had 2 more years on air than its predecessor. Number 6. The original pilot for the animated series is only 2 minutes long. Before the show was considered for a series or syndication, Bruce Timm and Eric Radomski created a 2-minute short to showcase their vision of the show to Warner Brothers. The result is a beautifully animated sequence that would later inspire the intro for the cartoon itself. It features a jewelry heist taking place on a rooftop, a short action sequence where Batman foils the crime, and ends with the police led by Commissioner Gordon attending the scene as Batman leaves. If you haven't seen this already, it's definitely worth checking out, and I'll pop a link to it in the description below. Number 5. The Lost Episode. The Adventures of Batman and Robin video game for the Sega CD features a series of cutscenes that add up to a coherent 16 minutes of footage. This has been proclaimed as the Lost Episode. To be honest, it's very generic in how it plods along, was very clearly developed to add some form of narrative to the game, and simply offers points in which to change the level thematics. That being said, given its iteration is solely a driving game, it does the job very well. Luckily, you don't need to own a Sega CD to see it. Due to the wonder of modern technology, some clever people have already captured the cutscenes, put them all together and uploaded them for the enjoyment of all. Once again, I'll pop a link to this in the description below. Number 4. Speaking of video games, as most fans know, the Arkin video game trilogy features the voice talents of many of the cast from the animated series. What you may not know is that the twist at the end of Arkham City was almost directly lifted from the adventures of Batman and Robin for the Sega CD. The only difference is that where Arkham City features the bait and switch between the Joker and Clayface, The Adventures of Batman and Robin has Clayface posing as the mob boss Rupert Thorne. I think the similarity between the reveals is a little too close to call coincidence. If this was intentional, it's definitely a well appreciated Easter egg to those in the know. Number 3. Batman and Alfred behind the scenes. There's a short behind the scenes documentary about the making of the Mask of the Phantasm. The weird thing about this is that it features appearances from the animated versions of both Batman and Alfred, who were fully aware of the movie's existence. Not only do they break the fourth wall by addressing the audience, but Alfred even provides the segues for the video between the different topics. Does that make Alfred the true DC equivalent of Deadpool? Number 2. No joke. So I've name dropped Mark Hamill and his iconic performance of the Joker already. However, what many people don't know is that before he took on the role, it had already been cast with none other than Tim Curry. Unfortunately for Mr. Curry, the producers decided that his voice didn't quite fit the show and decided to recast the character. Mark Hamill had made it known to Bruce Timm that he was interested in the part before the decision was made to recast, so he was called into audition. The rest, as they say, is history. And number 1, everything's connected. Batman the Animated Series kicked off the original DC animated universe. This is also known as the Timmverse after Bruce Timm and his huge contribution to its continuity. The animated series is accountable for more spin-off properties and animated movies than any other cartoon, with 8 different TV series which include Superman the Animated Series, The New Batman Adventures, Batman Beyond, Static Shock, The Zeta Project, Justice League, and Justice League Unlimited. It also boasts 8 feature-length projects within the same continuity, which include Batman the Mask of the Phantasm, Superman the Last Son of Krypton, the Batman-Superman movie, Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero, Batman Beyond the movie, Batman Beyond Return of the Joker, Batman Mystery of the Batwoman, and Justice League Starcrossed. This is the equivalent of over 150 hours worth of DC animated entertainment that we probably wouldn't have had today if it wasn't for Batman the Animated Series. It also begs the question, why aren't the creators of these shows in charge of the DCEU? But that's another video for another day, and brings us to the end of my top 10 obscure and lesser known facts about Batman the Animated Series. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you feel like I left anything out or have missed any vital information, please feel free to let me know in the comments below. If you like the video, please be sure to do the regular YouTube things that include thumbs, subs, and bells. If you'd like to support the Asylum Show, please be sure to visit our Patreon page using the link in the description below. And as always, I've been Mike, and I'll catch you in the Asylum soon.